We're going to demonstrate an Insight subluxation scan. This is a 5 technology scan. So we have the patient positioned on a stool, looking straight ahead, palms up. What that does is it relaxes the musculature along the spine. Ashley's going to go ahead and demonstrate the scan. So we're going to start with the first technology called a rolling thermal. This assesses for stress in the autonomic nervous system. So it's taking a bilateral spinal temperature, and if there's a greater than 1 degree Fahrenheit difference in temperature along the spine, that'll show up as a significant finding. So what we're going to do for the purposes of today is actually just do a cervical spine analysis. Cervical spine is also known as the neck. So let's go ahead and demonstrate that.
Begin scan. C7. Left C1. Right C1.
And this is what we see on the screen. So any temperature differential from one side to the other will show up as a colored bar. Next, we're going to move into the static surface EMG. EMG is short for electromyograph. This is looking at any stress in the spine where the nerves that control the muscles. If there's any tension in those muscles outside the normal range, that'll show up as a colored bar on the graph as well. Again, for the purposes of the video, we'll only be demonstrating the neck area.
Begin scan. C1.
So she's placing electrodes on the skin, and we'll see what that looks like on the screen.
C3.
Surface EMG is very much a live test, so you can see the
C5.
red and the blue marks on the screen. It's a live reading of the electrical activity in the muscles.
C7. T1. T2.
Show you again what that looks like on the screen. So again, any areas where there's nerve stress, it's going to show up as a colored bar on the graph. Next technology we're going to move into is called range of motion. We use digital range of motion. And again, for the purposes of the video, we'll be demonstrating range of motion of the cervical spine. And we'll be demonstrating lateral flexion.
Begin scan.
So range of motion is a specific text for the functional movements of the joints of the cervical spine. Next test we're going to move into is algometry. Algometry is a test looking for pressure sensitivity along the spine. The instrument that we use measures that in pounds per square inch, and so if the patient is acutely sore, this will show up as a positive reading on the test that there's tenderness along the spine. So we're going to have the patient holding the instrument that will take the reading, so when the patient notices that there is discomfort, she can press the button and then the machine will take the reading. So we put pressure along the spine and the patient notices discomfort. She depresses her handheld device and the computer takes the reading. And then last test we're going to do here, this is the 5th technology. It's called heart rate variability or pulse wave profiling. And what this test is looking for, it's not testing anything along the spinal column. It's actually a hand test. So we're measuring the change in heart rate over 5 minutes, and we're also testing skin conductance, basically the moisture production in the skin. So it's actually much like a lie detector test. If the nervous system is stressed, the heart rate will increase and the palm will become more sweaty. And so we know that the nervous system is always going through fluctuations. It's going through changes. And so we're measuring that normal adaptability and that normal change over a 5-minute period. So on the screen here we can see that we have heart rate has been detected, skin conductance is good, skin temperature is good, and we are ready to start our test. So that does a 30-second resting period where it lets the heart rate come to a normal beat, and then we will do that test for 5 minutes, and any change in heart rate or skin conductance during that time will be recorded, and that will give us a feel for how well the patient has been managing stress. That concludes the Insight Subluxation Station 5-tech scan. Based on all the 5 technologies, then the computer will create a report called a NeuroSpinal Function Index, and that score is based on a 0 to 100 scale. So much like a math test, you want to score as high as you can. If the patient has lost significant function in the nervous system and the spine, their score will be lower. If they're functioning at a really good level, their score will be higher.